Hello guys, this is Clayton. I'm doing my public speaking speech and I chose the topic torture. And here we go. Let me know, or give me some feedback. Let me know how I did. Torture. What do you think about when you hear the word? Perhaps it's being locked up in a place where there is no escape from. Being physically mistreated. Whatever you might be thinking of, it's nothing compared to having to live it. Torture at first thought might seem like the only way to get information because we do not have access to the truth serum or a mind reading facility, but the truth about torture is that not only is it cruel and inhumane, but those that are being tortured for information may not have the information others think they have, and it does not produce viable results. In our time together, I am going to go over what it is considered to be tortured, share a brief history of torture being used by the United States, and talk about the way torture is used. Torture is physiological as well as physical. Torturers often focus on ways of inflicting grave pain that never leave a mark on the flesh, forced nakedness and sexual humiliation, stress positions, sleep deprivation, sensory overload, sensory deprivation, and mock execution are among some of the horrific methods used to inflict torment. From a medical and psychological perspective, these abuses constitute torture and cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment. While the word torture has a variety of connotative meanings, the United States government has been defining it only by its denotative meaning. Because of this, it is debated as to whether or not torture is a punishment, falls under the cruel and unusual punishment clause of the Eighth Amendment to the United States Constitution. The text of the amendment states that excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. The U.S. Supreme Court has held since the 1890s that punishment which involve torture are forbidden under the Eighth Amendment. Even as this may be, a 2-year study by the U.S. independent group, the Constitution Project, concluded that it was indisputable that U.S. forces had employed torture as well as cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment in many integrations, that the nation's most senior officials bear ultimate responsibility for allowing and contributing to the spread of these techniques, and that there is substantial evidence that information obtained by these methods was never useful nor reliable. What others may not already know is that the U.S. used torture for after the 9/11 attacks. The U.S. use of torture also alienates partners and puts the United States in a company of human rights violators whose actions the states deplore and condemn. Because of this, the United States are seen as hypocrite to the entire world, and their pleas for the abolishment for the use of torture had no credibility. Although torture does not provide accurate information, it is used to control communities and families. When one person is taken and tortured, the family learns immediately to be afraid to be silent. When a second person is tortured, the community quickly gets the message. You must do whatever the perpetrators want. Torture takes control swiftly. Torture creates such a must-do whatever the must-do climate of fear, insecurity, and fractures communities, silence dissent, and suppresses civic engagement. The torture of families in their homes is devastating. For 3 decades, survivors have been describing torture scenarios to CVT that have nothing to do with integration, only with instilling terror, inflicting pain, enacting revenge, and enforcing forms of slavery. Men, women, and children are all affected. In fact, over half of the survivors CVT cares for are women or girls. I hope that our time here was effective in educating what torture is, the history of how it has been used in the United States and how it is used. The effects of torture cannot be undone. Survivors of these inhumane acts are changed forever. It can break down the mind and as a result change the priorities and personality of another human. How can another human do this to another human being? I urge you all to raise awareness of this disgusting act and do all that you can to stop it.